What if I told you that the worst thing that ever happened to you might have been the best thing that ever happened to you? You just didn't know it yet. There's a story about a farmer, a horse, and a truth so simple it took a lifetime for the people around him to understand it. And by the end of this video, you'll never look at your problems the same way again. In a small, quiet village, surrounded by fields and dust roads, lived a man named Mr. Adam. He wasn't rich, he wasn't powerful, he didn't own land as far as the eye could see, but he had something far more valuable: peace of mind. Mr. Adam lived a simple life with his son Daniel and their beloved white horse, Max. Every morning they worked their small farm together. Every evening, they sat beneath the same sky, grateful for what little they had. The villagers sometimes pitied him, sometimes laughed, but Mr. Adam never seemed to care. He knew something they didn't. One afternoon, a wealthy businessman rode into the village. He had heard about Max, a horse of rare beauty and strength, and he came with an offer that made the villagers' jaws drop. A large sum of money, enough to change everything. The crowd held their breath. Mr. Adam looked at Max, then looked at the man, and with a gentle smile, he shook his head. "No, thank you," he said simply. The villagers couldn't believe it. Was he crazy? Who turns down that kind of money? Mr. Adam just went back to his farm, and life continued until it didn't. A few days later, Max was gone. No trace, no explanation, just gone. And this time, the villagers didn't hold back. "See, he should have sold that horse when he had the chance. Now he has nothing. What a fool." Daniel's heart sank. He looked at his father with worried eyes, waiting for some sign of anger or regret. But Mr. Adam sat quietly, looked at the open field, and said, "Son, there is both good and bad in everything. We do not yet know which this is." Daniel didn't understand. How could losing their only horse be anything but bad? He would find out soon enough. A few days passed, and then hoofbeats, distant at first, then louder, louder, louder. Max came galloping home, but he wasn't alone. Behind him ran 5 wild horses, following him into the farm like a gift from the heavens. Now the villagers came rushing. "Mr. Adam, you're so lucky. Look at this. 5 horses. You're rich." They celebrated. They congratulated. They acted as if they had never doubted him for a single moment. Mr. Adam simply nodded and smiled his quiet smile. The next few days were full of energy as young Daniel worked hard to tame the wild horses. But one morning, while riding one of the untamed stallions, Daniel was thrown. He hit the ground hard. His leg snapped. The villagers rushed over, not with compassion, but with criticism. "These wild horses were a curse, not a blessing. Look what happened to the boy. Poor Mr. Adam. First the horse disappears, now this." Daniel lay in bed in pain, staring at the ceiling. He asked his father, "Why is this happening to us?" Mr. Adam sat beside him, placed a hand on his shoulder, and said, "Rest, my son. We cannot yet know what this means." 1 week later, they found out. War broke out. Soldiers came to the village to draft every able-bodied young man into military service. One by one, the sons of the village were taken, sons of the very men who had mocked Mr. Adam, who had called him unlucky, who had laughed at his misfortune. They came to Daniel's door, too. The soldier looked at Daniel's broken leg, bandaged and healing, and shook his head. "He cannot march. Leave him." And they rode away. Weeks passed, then months, and the news began to trickle back from the battlefield. Heavy, heartbreaking news. Many of the young men did not return. The village fell silent with grief. And in that silence, people began to remember the words of a quiet old farmer who had never once claimed to know whether something was good or bad. In that evening, Daniel sat up in bed and looked at his father. "Father," he said softly, "I think I'm beginning to understand." Mr. Adam nodded. "Life, my son, is not something we can judge in a single moment. The horse we lost came back with 5 more. The leg you broke saved your life. The businessman's offer we refused, that horse led us here. Every time we said this is the worst thing, time showed us otherwise. And every time people celebrated as if the best had happened, time brought its own answer. Good or bad, only time tells, and something greater than us is always at work." Here's what this story teaches us. Don't judge your life by a single chapter. The story isn't over. Hardship is not punishment. It is often preparation. Fortune is not a destination. It is a moment. Don't let it make you arrogant. Patience is not weakness. It is the deepest form of strength. And there is a plan at work in your life, one that is bigger, wiser, and more loving than your current circumstances suggest. The next time something feels like it's falling apart, remember Mr. Adam. Remember the horse. Remember the broken leg that became a shield. And take a breath, because you don't yet know what this is. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Drop a comment below. What was a bad thing in your life that turned out to be a blessing? I'd love to read your story. And if you believe that everything truly happens for a reason, subscribe and join this community, because we share stories like this every week. Until next time, be patient, be grateful, and trust the journey.